So I heard after like a 12, 14-hour day.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's last time you lose.
That's right.
So, Celeste, I heard this morning from Lanya that traction has influenced the trajectory of your education and career. Can you tell me about that? I was like totally blown away.
All right. Well, I guess when I first started getting involved with traction, I had things that I was passionate about, but I didn't quite know how I would make them a part of my life or how to find people that I could relate to on those issues. And so I started getting involved in traction on a social level and meeting people actually like you that were very influential, sort of showing me that you could incorporate these values into your everyday life. And then on a larger level, in deciding to go back to graduate school in public policy, I think was very influenced by traction, just by actually being to be able to see myself as someone who could be a leader and as someone who could create change. And then I think even just on a basic skill level, working on the board, working, to do fundraising and things like that kind of brought me into a sphere of realizing that I definitely could be part of that world. I definitely could be someone who makes change, and got more comfortable, talking with people who might have been intimidating to me in the past, seeing how things work, just the networking and the schmoozing and not being so scared of it and disgusted by it, just realizing that it's about building relationships.
Realizing that you're actually pretty darn good at it.
That I can schmooze. But also I think, I was talking about this in this philanthropy class that I'm taking and looking at like the personal philanthropy that I've been involved in, but traction was a big place where I don't think that I ever would have had these experiences at my age based on the work experience that I've had. No job was ever going to give me that management experience, and I think managing volunteers is one of the best ways to become a good manager, because you don't have the same incentive structure. You can't threaten to fire them. You can't give them money. You have to motivate people from a much different level. And so I think that, not only helping me to decide to go back to school to study public policy, but sort of giving me this booster shot where I'm going to be, further ahead in terms of my experience and my comfort level than I would have been without that experience, because no one's going to hire me to be a manager in that way at this level in my career. I mean, maybe after grad school, but anyway. So
but grad school plus some serious experience is a big, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Definitely.
even just, wanting to make change locally in North Carolina, the people that I've met through Traction, I think are constantly part of my networking circle now. Come May, I'll need a job, and believe me, I will be calling calling a lot of people that I've met through Traction. It's just been a very empowering force in my life, and I never envisioned myself going that direction. Like, never pictured myself thinking about running for office, or even working in the political sphere didn't seem realistic to me. And
But now it does.
yes,
All those things. Wow.
Tell us about your summer placement, and I'm also interested if you could tell us about some of the philanthropy that you're talking about. Bye. Okay. See ya. See you this weekend, Lisa, I'm sure.
so should I just
We'll talk. Okay.
keep looking here?
No, you can look at I just wanted you to be interacting with somebody. You can look at me, you can look at the camera. Now I'm a little more straight on.
So my summer internship.
And also philanthropy, you could talk about like any giving, political or nonprofit giving.
Sure. So yeah, in terms of my philanthropic career, I would say before Traction, I never really considered myself a donor in terms of monetary giving. Again, I think there's just a sense that as a young person you don't have enough to make a difference, and I also had never really sat down and thought about what a significant monetary gift would mean to me, and no one had ever asked me that. But when I served on the board of Traction, that was part of my obligation, and so I really did take the time to think about what a significant gift would mean. And I guess it's just sort of changed my self-perception and realizing that, of the ways that I portion out my money, it's like retirement savings or going to school, that, giving to nonprofit causes are, that's a really important aspect. And so, I also give to Planned Parenthood and HRC and some other places that are important to me. And I also make sure to support my friends and family that are doing things that are important to them, like whether it's a walk for breast cancer or even, an art show that they're trying to put together, that I want to enable other people to pursue their passions. So I'm always willing to give in that way.
Do you ever give to political candidates?
Yeah, I actually gave to 2 political candidates. No?
I mean, no, you can be specific or not.
Well, yeah, last year was the first time that I'd given to a political candidate. It was also the first time that I had campaigned for a political candidate. So those were 2 experiences that I'd never had before. And last summer I worked in the state senate on the budget development team, which was a fascinating experience. Got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. But again, I think it was very empowering because you're in the room when these decisions are getting made, and it helped me realize I do have a voice that needs to be heard, and I have skills that are useful. I have experiences and thoughts that are useful, and it kind of demystified the whole thing for me. So I'm just, I guess it made it less scary and more accessible. And again, just the experience and being able to, call up any of the full appropriations chairs and say, hey, how are you doing? Let's have lunch. And, that's makes you realize that you can have an impact. And seeing how they reacted to citizen concerns, that they would come in to meetings saying, I got 4 phone calls about this last night. We need to really do something about it. So even though I always was that person that would email or call my representatives, I'll do it 10 times over.
Were you always that person?
Well, not always, but maybe for the past few years. Okay, yes, since I've been involved with action.
No, only if that's true.
Well, no, it is true. I mean,
it's like, wait a second.
A lot of
I
it,
don't want you to be lying.
it's, you sort of do have to think back. It's not that the first time I ever called my representative, I said, oh, I'm doing this because Traction taught me how, but when you look at the correlation between events and the way that you're getting involved, and you come to a Traction event and they hand out postcards and you fill it out and you realize, oh, that's really easy, and then through that I started getting on listservs for causes that are interesting to me. And so then all of a sudden they're sending me an email saying, hey, just call your representative, here's their phone number, here's what you can say to them. And then they make it super easy. And then to know that they listen, to know that it actually does impact them, and that usually the people who are on the other side are calling. So you need to be making your voice heard.
Really quickly, some of the listservs that you joined, like, are there any local organizations or state organizations?
Yeah, I'm on the listserv for Equality NC, and that's an issue that's really important to me.
Awesome.
Civil rights for the queer community. Planned Parenthood on the listserv.
Great. Awesome. Thanks.
Sure.
You're awesome.